Hey there everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pastor Stu's Book Review, where this week we'll be looking at a book that focuses on the life of a great artist mixed with the great ideas of a Christian writer. So join me as we take a look at the book, Learning from Henri Nouwen and Vincent van Gogh, A Portrait of the Compassionate Life. Let's get started by offering a little bit of information about Carol Berry. To begin with, it's important to understand that Carol Berry is an artist, art educator, and lecturer at the Vermont Humanities Council, and the author of Vincent van Gogh, His Spiritual Vision in Life and Art, in the Modern Spiritual Masters series. She's been studying Vincent van Gogh since 1979, and she has traveled throughout Europe retracing Van Gogh's life, visiting towns and villages in the Netherlands, Belgium, France, where Van Gogh lived and worked. She also spent years under the instruction of Henri Nouwen, which gives her the backing she needs to write a book such as this. And she's published a number of books, which I will link her Amazon page down in the description so you can take a look at all that she has to offer. As far as other information regarding the book, that will be posted here below so you can get a look at page numbers and publishing information and things like that, so that we don't need to cover it. As far as the format goes, this book is written and broken down into three different categories, or three different sections. Part 1, which deals with solidarity, Part 2, consolation, and Part 3, comfort. And the way she approaches it is she approaches it from three different points of view, where she covers Vincent's story, she covers Henri's story and his connection with Vincent van Gogh, and then her own story. So trying to tie all of that together in a way that helps the reader understand more of the life of Vincent van Gogh, to understand a bit more of the teachings and the person of Henri Nouwen, and then to understand how she's seen these things apply in her own life. So it's a really interesting way to set this up, and it really made for an enjoyable read as you go through it. So that being said, I want to jump right into just some of the highlights and some of the things that I came across throughout this book. To begin with, I don't think I could recommend this book any more highly. Even if you don't know anything about Vincent van Gogh, and if you don't know anything about Henri Nouwen, this was just an enjoyable read. I didn't know a lot about Vincent van Gogh going into this. I knew he was a painter. I knew that he was troubled just from stories that people have told in history classes and things like that. But to really hear from someone who has spent, now 30 years, 40 years looking at Vincent van Gogh's life and studying his experiences, it gave a new appreciation for who the man was and how he lived his life. The reason that Carol writes this is really to offer a written account which is based on a class that Henri Nouwen had taught when he was at Yale Divinity School. And there was a course that he taught on Vincent van Gogh and compassion that he never put into book form, and I can't recommend enough. I'm a big fan of Henri Nouwen's as far as his writings go. So if you're not familiar with his work, definitely check him out. I'll link that down below as well so that you can get a look at some of the stuff that he's known for, which are things like The Wounded Healer, and he wrote a book based on Rembrandt's painting, The Prodigal Son. So definitely some stuff that you should check out. Just going through the life of Vincent van Gogh was incredible. Not knowing that he was actually a lay preacher at one point. He attempted to go to school, but that didn't work out. A lot of things occupationally didn't work out for Vincent. But he still had this passion and he had this desire to meet people where they hurt. The whole premise of this class that Nouwen taught and the whole idea of the book focuses on the compassionate life, which the compassion that they're talking about is to suffer with. So it was just a really interesting book to really get into. On page 47, and I didn't write down who had said this, but the statement is, "I realized I could only enter into solidarity with them once I was willing to let go of my preconceived notions and my fear of the unknown," which I believe is a quote from Vincent himself, which this book has an incredible wealth of information in it. I really liked and enjoyed everything that was covered in this text. It's a short read. So really, if you're an avid reader, you could sit down and finish this book in probably a day or two. And it's easy to read, and at least for me, it kept my attention. If you're not big into art, and if you're not big into more of the contemplative lifestyle, you may struggle with this book. But I would definitely say that as far as whether she reached her goal of really laying out this class and laying out this life of Vincent van Gogh, yeah, she hit the nail on the head with this. I'm straying a little bit from what I've done in the past with regards to highlights, just because there's really not much in terms of a lot of really key points to pick out here, because it was more of a biography of a man's life, a couple men's life, that helps you understand more of their background and more of who they are. So she definitely hit the nail on the head as far as, you know, offering this course. As far as I know, I don't know the notes and things that she got, but I believe that she offered a picture of Vincent van Gogh and Henri Nouwen that was pretty accurate as far as the stories I've heard and the studies I've done on Henri Nouwen, at least. And it seems like she does a good job explaining really the troubles that Vincent van Gogh had and the heart that he had behind it. She takes you through the journey of him living with the peasants at a mining village, and his study into art and color and his ministry and all kinds of things that go along with that, even up to the point of his death, which he died fairly young. And he was only painting for 10 years, I think, and in the course of that 10 years he had painted hundreds of paintings, landscapes and people, and just reimagining some other works of artists like Rembrandt. So when it comes down to this review, it's different. It's a little odd that I'm approaching it this way. All I can say is if you get a chance to get a hold of this book, definitely do so. It's worth the read. It's worth the time. And it does help you understand a bit of how effective it can be in ministry to connect with people where they suffer. So what are your thoughts on that? Have you read this book? Do you know anything about Van Gogh or Henri Nouwen? If so, post that in the comments. And as always, you know, what would you like to see me review or read? What's been something that's impacted you deeply? And once again, if you like this material, definitely click that like button, that subscribe button, so that you'll be notified every time that I post, which is every Tuesday morning. So as always, guys, thanks so much for watching, for those of you that do, and keep the faith, and remember that you're deeply cherished. Be blessed.